Hey everybody, guess where we are? We're on a field trip, and I'm giddy. I am giddy. This is the most excited I've been in a while. I have a tour guide today.
That's right. Hey y'all.
This is my friend Sarah Austin Welch, and we are in Oxford, Mississippi, the University of Mississippi. Ole Miss. Woo! Anyway, Sarah Austin has the hookup, and she and her friends are going to give us tours around campus. And if you don't know, Ole Miss is the most beautiful campus in the state of Mississippi, in the SEC, in the United States of America, and I think in the world.
I agree.
I agree. So anyway, we're fixing to get the show on the road and see some pretty things. See, most beautiful campus, Ole Miss. The proof is in the pudding, and there it is right there.
There it is.
Landscape Services Office. This is where the fun begins. The University of Mississippi Landscape Services. We're going for a ride. Ole Miss, home of Landscape University. Hey, pardon the interruption, but as I was watching these video clips back to make this video, I realized that I did not introduce anybody that is going to be in these videos. So, well, I did introduce Sarah Austin. Sarah Austin Welch is a friend of ours. She went to high school with my sons, and she graduated from Ole Miss in May. While she was at Ole Miss, she was, what was she? She was the student body president. She graduated in May, and she will be attending graduate school, I believe, starting in August. And while she's doing that, she works in the office of the chancellor. She's in the chancellor's office doing something. And so she knows lots of people on campus, including this fellow right here. His name is Jeff McManus, and he is he's over landscape services. He's like the superintendent of landscape services. Unfortunately, he was on vacation, so he was not able to tour us around campus, but his assistant supervisor of landscape services was there, and his name was Nathan Lazinski. And so he gave us the tour around campus, and he did such a fabulous job. He was very entertaining, lots of knowledge about everything that I was interested in seeing, and he just really, really did a good job. And thanks to Nathan for giving us the tour. Also on the tour was a fella named Keller Smith. Keller is a student at Ole Miss, and this summer he is working with the landscape services crew, and he is a friend of Sarah Austin's. So he was in the video, or he is going to be in the video, and he is also part of the landscape services team. So it was neat that he was there too. But just a little about landscape services. They are in charge of everything that you see on the campus of Ole Miss, pretty much. They do all of the maintenance of the garden beds, the flower beds, the lawns, the grassy areas, the grove, the turf in the grove, the trees, everything. They are over everything. Ole Miss is a 1,000-acre campus, and Landscape Services has 33 full-time employees. And Nathan Lazinski said that they should probably have about 86 full-time employees, but that's the way the budget works, I guess. So they have a lot on them, and they do a wonderful job. The campus is meticulous, it's warm, it's inviting, it is comfortable, it's just I can't say enough good things about it. I'm a big fan, you can tell. He said that they have different areas where they rank them, like a 1 being like the most highly anticipated places to see, especially like for visitors. 1 being like the Lyceum, the entrances when you come into campus, those are like the Disney World areas, like where you would have the most landscaping, the most, spend the most time cultivating and making sure that those areas really pop. All the way down to a number 5 would be like the woods off of the side of Old Taylor Road, leaving campus. They keep all the trash and everything picked up, and if any tree limbs fall, but there's no actual like plantings going on down there in the woods, but they keep everything clean and neat and orderly. He said that curb appeal is key because that's the first impression that you get when you enter the Ole Miss campus, which is true, because think about it. If you were visiting a campus where you think that your child may want to go to college, and they have trash on the campus, or they have, garbage cans knocked over, or their grass is really tall in the grassy areas, or if their flower beds have not been weeded, or if their flowers are burned up because they don't ever get water, you would think, oh, I don't know about this place. I don't know if this is where I want my child to go. If they're not caring for their campus, would they help nurture my child and help my child along, in this college aspiration that they might have? So, first impressions mean a lot. And he said that most times people would know within the first 5 minutes of entering campus whether they wanted to go to that college or not. So, they have a lot hanging over them, and they are up for the challenge. They do a very good job. And if you've never been to the Ole Miss campus, I invite you to go. It ought to be one of the wonders of the world. So, good job, Ole Miss. 2,800 trash cans for Football Fridays.
So 614 tons of trash were collected from the Grove and the Circle last year.
Say that again.
614 tons of trash were collected from the Grove and Circle last year, just on football games.
Whoa.
Hand picked up, all hand collected.
Oh my God, I bet y'all are glad when football season is over.
It goes by quick.
I bet.
You don't feel like having potato salad, chicken tenders, or any of that until after Christmas.
Right. There's the stadium, the magnolias. Oh, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do y'all have issues with deer here on campus?
Absolutely.
You do?
Absolutely. So we have to be sensitive of what we plant. We do use some scarecrows and some different modes, some repellents like liquid fence is a good one.
Uh-huh.
The scarecrows work real well. They're hooked up to our irrigation, their motion sensing.
Oh, okay.
They just spray them with water.
So it's not like a literal scarecrow. It's just
It's a sprinkler that senses motion.
Okay.
And goes off.
Because I was going to be looking for the scarecrows around in your flower beds.
I could show you. You could buy them at Home Depot.
All right.
They work probably the best because you set them and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas liquid fence,
you have to
and
spray
those products every 30 days, depending on rain.
Right.
Same with like Irish Spring soap.
Yeah.
Something we haven't used on campus, but I use at my house: rubber snakes.
Does that?
You just have to move them around, but snakes.
Serious?
The deer do not like them.
I have not heard that. I'm going to give that a try, and I will probably scare myself to death. Okay, so look at that bed, all that lantana. Y'all do that?
Yes.
Now, is that lantana perennial, or do y'all have to?
We'll pull it up and put new down.
Oh my gosh, what do y'all do with it when you pull it up?
So some people that want it like NMRC, which is a retirement home,
Yeah.
they have a greenhouse, so they'll take some of them and repot them and grow them.
Yes.
But like when we pull the tulips, we treat them as an annual.
Right, yeah, they won't usually come back the next year.
If people request them,
Yeah.
we'll bag them up and let them take them.
Really? Well, how do you get on that list?
Just email me.
Okay, well, I sure will. I'm gardening on a budget.
This is the former Scruggs property.
Oh, yes.
There's scarecrows out here, so I'm sure.
Okay. Oh, and look at this. Is this y'all too?
Yes. Yep.
Now, what are these?
Those are thuja, green giant arborvitae.
Green giant arborvitae. Are those irrigated?
No. And,
Oh, wow.
and I will say thuja, it struggles without irrigation.
I was wondering about that. Look at these caladiums.
5,000 caladiums.
5,000. And this is
on
the
property. Yes.
this is the Scruggs.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, look at that.
So see these little,
Oh, yeah.
that's the scarecrow. So
Okay.
they're probably turned off right now. But yeah, because this one was leaking. The moving trucks hit some of them.
Yeah.
And so, but what they do is they just sense motion and they just
That's the
sprinkle
scarecrow.
just like a sprinkler.
That's really cool.
They're like $50.
The
That might be
caladiums catch my eye.
Oh yeah. They catch the deers too.
They love them, don't they? Ugh.
So Miss Scruggs had deer feeders out here. She fed the deer.
Oh,
Fed the deer. So maybe
the
they would.
scarecrow's not working here.
Oh, so y'all have problems?
It's those little.
They're everywhere.
Okay.
So do you think that she had deer feeders out here so maybe they would eat the deer food and leave her plants alone?
I'm not sure. I didn't know her, but yeah, see, they got those too.
Yeah.
I think the moving van
Okay, that's just scarecrows.
hit the irrigation line.
Yeah.
Get it turned off.
This is absolutely beautiful.
So on APA standards, this would be a level 1 property.
Oh yeah. I can see why. Creek bed.
Y'all got to go swim in the pool yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Y'all call when y'all ready to.
And they don't know what they're going to do with this exactly yet?
Not yet. They're talking. There's several ideas, like possibly being a place for events.
Right.
Yeah, that still hasn't been decided.
This is gorgeous.
So this is a 10-acre property that we just got in July.
Look at that over there.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-mm-mm.
Everything in there is like imported from either like Italy.
So there's a deer feeder.
China.
That little hut you see back there. I'll put it back up. See on there's a service road down there.
Uh-huh.
See that little like,
Oh,
hut?
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
the
see
deer
it.
feeder.
Well,
Please do. That'd be awesome.
With their
There's a deer right there.
Oh my gosh! Speak of the
little
well,
bandy.
I wonder if I
He
was.
still had spots.
He did. It was a little fawn,
This is so
a little deer. Okay, so what am I seeing mainly here? I see Distillium.
Anise.
Deer don't eat anise. In fact, I just bought one the other day to add to my shade area.
It's a tough. Anise is a tough plant.
Yeah.
Tough. You know, and it natively grows on the riverbanks and in the woods. It does pretty well, really well, drought tolerance.
Are these azaleas?
Yes, hardy gardenia azaleas.
Okay, and I've seen a good many nandinas maybe back there.
Yeah, there was some Andina
Back there, I see some.
vitex. That's a Formosa azalea, a little bit taller variety.
Oh, I see an oak leaf hydrangea.
Yeah, oak leaf's a little bit more deer tolerant. You know, it's one of the native ones.
Yeah.
They won't nibble on it as much.
Oh, those are nandinas. And do y'all try to incorporate natives into your plantings?
When possible, yes. We have an approved plant list that we go for low maintenance. So,
Right. Yeah.
You know, a lot of these taller, like your Formosa azaleas, we went away from. I mean, there's a spot for it.
Right.
But they're going to get big. And
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we put them in a spot where they can get big.
Right.
We use a lot of hardy gardenia azaleas because they stay nice and low.
Yeah.
Red ruffle azalea, use a lot of those. Hershey red. You know, all of those stay below 3 feet or 3 foot max.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of what we want. If we don't have to touch it, that's great. You know,
Oh, yeah.
because you're going to get lace bugs and all kinds of other stuff. So if we don't have to prune it, the better. So we actually have an approved planting list that's constantly being modified. And that's based on, there's the scarecrow going off right now. So
yeah.
set it off.
Oh yeah.
So that one's on. But yeah, so we that approved planting list is based off of maintenance, and we try to do low maintenance. Again, with 4 people taking care of 33 acres of shrubs,
Right.
we have to be smart.
That's amazing.
Work smarter, not harder.
Absolutely. Yeah, all these were planted, I think, around 5 years ago. So thuja, it grows really fast. If these were irrigated, they'd be twice the size.
Yeah.
Great wall. I have some planted at my house because my neighbor has an ugly painting van I like to
Oh,
look at. So
yeah.
it's a great shrub for that.
Yeah. Privacy shrub. Right.
Yeah.
So there's
Baseball field.
there's a reason for every planting.
You'll cut all that too?
Not the field.
I have to say,
Y'all do such a good job.
Everything outside the fence.
Wow.
that's beautiful over there.
Around 600 acres of grass.
600 acres of grass. So it's just on a constant rotation of cut.
Generally takes about 3 to 4 days to mow their zones.
Mm-hmm.
So we're there on a 10-day rotation, so we're cutting everything every 10 days. There's a mentor statue,
Yeah.
you know, the rose garden there, signifying that a rose takes a lot of hard work, but if you put the time in it, it gives you beauty. So the same thing with education here is we're nurturing young minds to do better things.
Oh, wonderful symbolism there.
This is the new grove sign.
The grove.
We're
Ooh, it
curious
is.
to see how it will fare against football.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, this is the holy grail of tailgating,
Yes.
and this is a very exciting year. So a lot of hype this year. So
I already have my reservations for Atlanta.
really,
We're optimistic.
so some of the stuff that you'll start seeing us do is we're going to be putting fencing around all this. just
Oh,
to
really?
protect it during
Yeah.
football, because it's crazy how things will get destroyed during a Saturday, but then come Sunday, they start calling our office.
Yeah.
So we put, snow fencing around a lot of these smaller trees
Yeah.
to keep people from climbing on them.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to actually put some crowd control fencing around these boxwoods to keep people from climbing on them. and
Right.
take pictures. It usually takes about 2 weeks for us to put all the fencing on.
Can you believe that people used to park their vehicles in the grove? When I was a freshman here, we parked our vehicles in the grove on game day.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
That's how old I am.
And the trees tell that.
Yeah.
They can tell that, because that is one of the probably most challenging things of my job is trying to keep these trees healthy,
Mm-hmm.
because you're dealing with compaction. So
Oh, yeah.
you got 100,000 people out here 7 days a week, and they're just stomping on the soil.
Mm-hmm.
And compaction, what happens is all the particles stack up so tight on each other that no air space is in there, water can't,
Right.
and roots can't grow through it.
Uh-huh.
So we try to mitigate that every year.
Mm-hmm.
So after football season, we'll come in here with an air spade and cut trenches around the trees
Mhm.
to encourage the roots to grow in a certain
Mhm.
way. We'll aerate the whole soil, and we'll have to reseed everything as well.
Oh my gosh.
So that usually takes about 2 weeks as well.
Oh. What a daunting task to keep this up, because the Grove is, when you think of Ole Miss, you think the Grove,
Oh yeah.
the Lyceum.
So another challenge is growing grass in full shade. So
Yes.
we use a tall fescue.
Tall
turf-
fescue.
Turf type fescue.
Uh-huh.
It's actually not supposed to grow here during the summer, but we irrigate it so heavily. Now, the reason why it's checking out there is Lamar Hall has a daycare in it, and they keep going to the same spot
Oh.
as, and so they're wearing it out.
Yeah.
This time of year
Yeah.
too is normally when the fescue starts to check out when it's really hot.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's pretty.
yeah, that's one of our
That's my old stomping ground.
it's one of our pollinator gardens. So,
Oh, a pollinator garden.
so there's 7 pollinator gardens that we have on campus. 7 designated pollinators. We have several of them. They're going to be perennial. All of them have a sign with a QR code that you can scan, and it'll tell you what type of pollinators and what plants are in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Y'all have it going on.
We also have a tree inventory on campus. So if you look on every one of these trees, there's a little round metal tag on each one of them.
Okay.
If you go to our website, it'll tell you everything about that tree. And it'll tell you all, we have every tree inventoried. So I believe the Grove was worth 2.3 million, and the Circle, both of them ended up being like 4.6 million together combined.
Oh
The
my
value of
gosh.
the trees. But it will tell you that we have something called Tree Plotter that we get through a grant. And so I'm one of the arborists, but we have 3 on staff, and then we use a consulting arborist. But we'll tag these trees, and if you go to that website, it'll tell you how much carbon each tree sequesters, how much oxygen it produces. It gives you all the eco benefits for all of them.
That's so cool.
There is so much science involved in all of this. And I thought we were just looking at pretty things, but it's all about science.
I can show you that when we get to our office.
Okay.
If you want to see that. But that's all off of a grant that we just
Yeah.
got.
My first tour I ever gave him a tour guide, a dad asked me what kind of tree one was in the grove. And I was like,
Oh, look, those azaleas are blooming.
Encores have.
Yeah.
Encores have not done well.
Have they not?
They don't like the cold. Those are protected.
Right.
Protected spot. So this is one of our champion trees.
Yes.
We have 3 champion trees, meaning they're the biggest in the state. The state has since, they don't do that program anymore, but we can still say it because they were in it when it was.
Uh-huh.
But this is our champion catawba tree. Biggest in the
Catawba.
state. It's a northern catawba, so it doesn't get the worms on it like the
Oh,
southern
yeah.
catawba does. This tree, if you notice these brown props that we have on it,
Uh-huh.
so in 2014 when the tornado hit Tuscaloosa, it came
Right.
through here first, and that tree actually split in the middle. And so what we tried to cable it, meaning put an eye bolt through it, a cable to hold it together. The tree's hollow in the center.
Oh,
And
gosh.
so we had to come up with different ways so it wouldn't pull itself apart. Well, this past year over Christmas, it got struck by lightning and actually caught fire inside.
Oh, my gosh. That tree is
we
a
had to
living
put
miracle.
We had to put a garden hose on it for 3 days to put the fire out. The fire department came, they emptied a truck in it, and it was still smoking when they left. We just got a little $20 garden hose, hooked it up to a spigot, put it in the
Wow.
hole in the tree,
Look at
and let it
those-
run for 3 days.
Look at those squirrels.
But this tree's been putting off a lot of seedlings.
Uh-huh.
So usually on our Arbor Day celebration, we'll give away seedlings if people participate.
Oh, yeah.
that's really
And
cool.
we've been relocating the seedlings all through campus. I know.
In the fall, like trees and shrubs and things.
Dormant season. Now we plant shrubs year round,
Okay.
but trees we try to do it when they're dormant
Yeah.
for best success.
Mm-hmm.
It's less stressful for the tree.
Right.
We plant around 300 trees a year at least.
Wow. Okay, here's the lyceum. Sarah Austin, is your office in there?
It is. It is.
Wow. Are those knockout roses?
Yes. So this is one of our bigger pollinator gardens.
Ooh,
It's
yes.
a lot of traffic. See the sign with the QR code?
Oh yeah, pollinator gardens.
So it will take you to.
my garden club is, we're going to do a pollinator garden at the bank. Sarah Austin.
Oh, really?
The garden club is. So pretty. Ooh, what is that grass back there? Cannas. Okay. Well, I'm glad to know that because I wanted to put a dogwood in my little shade garden, and I haven't done it yet. So I need to get 3 of them.
Better winds, they do not like chemicals herbicides around them, digging around them. We're gonna plant them here. I've got a native Cherokee Princess.
Cherokee Princess dogwood. Okay.
A lot of people do Osa,
Yeah.
but it's not native. Princess is native to China. So.
Right.
That garden looks so good. I know during fall season y'all had a lot of traction through there because of the stem building being.
Yeah.
It was awful.
They
I mean, people
tore
just
the
tore down
fence
those
down
things.
every
Yeah.
game, and the Rebecca is not coming back from that.
Oh no.
Well, that's unusual that Rebecca is not coming back. But I guess if people,
100,000 people
if they
trampling
trample it,
I mean,
it's like I'm just giving up.
on Bodoc.
Yes,
So
Bodoc.
That's they're from the Osage Indians.
Uh-huh.
So before barbed wire was invented, Osage orange were planted everywhere because it was too tall for a horse to jump and too strong for a bull to run through. So farmers would plant rows of these as a living fence. But when barbed wire came out, people quit. So the reason why they call it a bodoc is the Indians would make bows with the wood from that. And it's a yellow meated wood. It's really extremely hard. So if you're going to get a chainsaw and cut some of that, you better bring several chains with you because it's going to dull the chains really quickly.
Wow.
Really hard wood. Has really big fruit pods on it.
Horse apples.
Yes. It's like crack for squirrels. Squirrels love it.
Yeah.
But it's not a great tree to plant in a parking area because those fall from the tree.
Right.
Or by a sidewalk. So this one's in a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool tree.
Really pretty.
What happens is they'll get root damage.
Yeah.
Roots can't feed on them. So they start dying from the tips down.
He said that this tree is going to be removed probably next week.
Yes.
And this one.
Yes.
And this one right here because it's just,
It's time.
I guess everything has a season and this has seen a few seasons.
Those are water oaks. They're both over 80 years old, easy.
Yeah.
That's about a typical lifespan of a water oak. About 80 years, 80, 90 years. Not all oak.
Not all oak. When you take those 2 trees out, that's what you'll go back with.
Probably that or a willow oak, one of the two. They're both really quick growing trees.
Okay.
You'll get some bang for your buck, at least in my lifetime.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So-
when y'all put trees like that in, how big are they when y'all plant them?
3-inch. Right. They're bald and burlap, usually 3-inch caliper.
So that means,
Meaning the trunk's 3 inches
okay.
around. So they just drained our pond.
Well, I see that.
The valve was leaking for it, so they had to.
The A, the first one you want to
They're fixing it right now.
Is that the one that
So this is one of our little dogwood groves.
Oh.
Okay, I told her to.
And see this catawba right here behind that pine?
Uh-huh.
That's one of the babies off of the champion catawba.
Really? How long did it take it to get that big?
About 3 years. Tapa grows really quick.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
quick.
put me on that list to get that.
Sure. Really quick growing tree. Really light wood too.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I thought I appreciate you calling me. You can move it, but I don't.
I mean, just every nook and cranny is landscaped, is planted, is taken care of. And I don't remember it being like that when I was here 100 years ago.
Chancellor Kayat started that push. He's the one that had the vision to that. And he's the one that recruited my boss here, Jeff, and said that it's the first impression on campus.
Yep.
And he is totally right that it is the first impression. That's what people see first.
It is.
You know, 62% of students are going to make their decision within the first 5 minutes of being on campus if they're going to come here or not. They already know the curriculum is here for them, but they're going to make that decision based on how safe they feel and the overall campus appearance. And who controls that? We do.
Yeah.
So, so that's why we try to put our seasonal color beds in the spots that get us that wow value.
Well, you know, I guess this is correct because the freshman growth every year has correlated with the amount of time and effort and improvement y'all have done with the landscape.
Yep, I think they said 2,000 new freshmen this year. I think I heard Dr. Boyce say that.
It seems like I read something like 5,700 freshmen.
Could be.
Is that?
I think he said additional.
Yeah,
so.
Oh.
so we're heading out closer to the 45. Yeah.
What's that behind the fence there?
That used to be Kincannon, and they demoed it to build a new residential college kind of like this, which is going to be 3 buildings. It went out for bid, and I think they're having to put it back out for bid because they had to do some changes to it. But they're hoping to have it online by 2026, I think. And another parking garage is going on over there as well.
You were just saying that the magnolia tree right there, what do y'all do?
Yes, ma'am. So with the magnolia trees, what happens is those leaves shed off real fast. And so we have to get up under those trees, blow them out into, the open where the mowers can get to them. We'll mulch them up. And then after they mulch them up, we'll blow them back under that tree so it could use as like natural fertilizer and stuff.
Exactly. Yes.
Free carbon.
Waste not, want not.
That's right.
So the trees clean the carbon out of the air, which is a free fertilizer source. So we're just reusing it.
Yes. I love using the leaf mulch.
So these 2 willow oaks right here, that's George and Martha. They were planted on George Washington's bicentennial birthday by the Daughters of the American Revolution.
Really?
Plaques below each one of those.
Wow.
So those trees, I think it was 32 that those were planted in 1932. They had a lot of tip dieback from the construction of Johnson Commons when they redid it. And so we came in here and did something called vertical mulching. We took an air spade, which basically takes compressed air, and we excavated the soil around these trees and put in larger aggregates so that way it would mitigate the compaction. And the trees have responded really well to it. So those trees were what I was saying before, and start a spiral decline, and they've kind of reversed themselves. We did a little bit of whittling on them, but I haven't had these pruned this year yet, and you see there's just a little tiny bit of tip dieback.
Yeah.
Last year, they were in a lot worse shape, so it just shows you that some of the things that we're doing does help. So
Yes.
You can reverse some stuff on
Well,
trees.
I am so glad to hear that. I'm glad that Martha and George are doing well. Oh, ferns. Those are pretty.
Autumn fern.
And a red bud.
Judas tree.
Judas tree.
Legend behind a red bud is Judas supposedly hung himself on
Really?
a red bud tree.
Oh, this is the
Anise.
anise. Yeah. And it kind of, does this one smell like banana? I don't know.
Licorice. Yeah, redbud is in the legume family, so it's a nitrogen fixer, so it actually fertilizes your trees around it.
Wow, I am learning so much. Have you learned a lot since you've been working here?
I've learned more than I ever thought I would.
You learned more than you knew that was possible. Okay, I see how y'all mounded it up there.
Cool.
Yeah, so we did that intentionally, knowing that everybody would cut right through it or cut across it.
Right, yeah, they would.
And so with that being humped up just that little bit,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I never thought about that. Oh my goodness.
it's funny how the human mind works.
Yeah.
That's just so
It's almost like that hump, it's a barrier, so no, we can't get across it.
And so the central axis I was talking about on campus,
Uh-huh.
if these library doors were both open, you'd see the Lyceum. If the Lyceum doors were open, you'd see the circle.
Yeah.
And it lines up, if you go all the way down through the chapel here, you can see Guyton.
Uh-huh.
And you know, Magnolia Court, are you familiar with Magnolia Court, which is right on the other side of it? We'll drive by it.
Okay.
Those magnolias were planted during World War II, living memory of the students that went there.
Oh, yeah.
Same guy that did Central Park.
yes.
He designed this.
Oh, say that again.
Frederick Law Olmsted, same guy that did Central Park, he designed this. He also did the White House grounds. He did our master plan here.
Oh my gosh. We are so special. So this is the central axis of campus. This is the library. If you open the doors to the library, then you would see the Lyceum. Open the doors to the Lyceum, you would see the circle, and then University Avenue, which takes you right all the way out of campus. And in this direction, you go from the library to the chapel, and then Guyton Hall. So everything is either to the left or to the right of this central axis.
North or south?
Okay.
So it divides campus east and west, or north and south.
Yeah.
It runs east and west, north and south.
Okay. And he said that this is the quad, and when they landscaped all this and developed this, when Chancellor Kayat first came, that they knew that this grassy area right here would be just a walking path for students and they wouldn't be able to maintain the grass. So they humped this up like this, and it's kind of a deterrent to keep people off of the grass or keep them from walking through the grass. And it's worked so well. Y'all are so smart.
So one of the things too, we landscaped this really heavily because that's an academic building. We knew we had to maintain this turf, which makes a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So we put a buffer on that building so that way it absorbs some of the noise when we're maintaining it.
Oh my gosh. Y'all
Some
think of
it got the
everything.
freeze damage.
Yeah.
Again, the camellias got zapped, so we're replanting that now.
Oh, okay. This is Martha Washington. This tree planted in memory of Martha Washington by the David Reese chapter of the DAR 1932. So this one is Martha. Ooh, she's big. And that one is George. Wow.
I'll see you.
It's in the bean family.
Oh, yeah.
Redbud. See, it looks just like a bean. It's in the
It
bean
does.
family.
Oh, yeah, there they are. So this is how they blow off in the wind, and you'll find them that's how they replant themselves in the woods. Cool. Guyton Hall. This is on the central axis of campus. So I'm climbing the stairs. From here, you have the chapel, you have the quad, you have the library, you have the Lyceum, you have the Circle, and then you have University Avenue that takes you out of campus. And it all starts here, or ends here, whichever way you're going. But that's it. Isn't it beautiful? I'm at the Axis. All right, he just said that these magnolias were planted, do you know what year or around about?
I think 44.
Okay. In memory and in honor of all the students who fought in World War II. And they are kicking.
But magnolia is a tough tree. They compartmentalize very well, which I know that's a dorky term for basically meaning so trees grow around decay. The decay doesn't go away; they just grow livewood over
Oh, okay.
it. And magnolia is very well at doing that. So, like this sidewalk just got put in 2 years ago, and you don't see any decline in the trees really, and that's way in the drip zone of the tree. If that was an oak, all of these would probably be dead.
Really?
So this is the front of the chapel. You can kind of see the access
Yeah,
to
I can see the
parking.
fountain.
That's so cool.
Absolutely.
Olmsted set that up. Frederick Law Olmsted. He did the Capitol or White House and the Central Park. He designed both of those areas. We don't know how he got to Mississippi.
Well, he
What
knew
made
that
him
this
come
was
here?
he knew this was the place to be.
It wasn't hundreds of years ago, I would have said Dr. Kayat, but he had a way of drawing people here.
Dr. Kayat was a visionary. He really,
He's so awesome.
he's the one that started our program really, and he got the funding for us to do a level 2, like I was talking about before. We kind of keep it at a little bit of a higher spec, but you can see we have some deer issues and things out here. Now there are some prevalent deer here. So.
Oh, look at the magnolias here. Those are so pretty. This is the Carrier House, the Chancellor's residence.
Yes. He actually has a golf green in the back.
Really?
There's a 1-hole golf green. See part of it without walking, but you can see how far back in the very
Oh,
back
yeah.
of that,
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
back there for him.
Wow.
I think Boyce actually goes to the golf course, so I don't think he uses it.
That was a kayak thing too, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I love the weather vane at the top.
And deer, you come here in the mornings, they'll laugh at you.
Ah.
Deer.
Oh yeah.
They're just,
Is that a chased tree?
yep, sure is. We use Vitex a pretty good bit.
So they do well here.
You know how they got the name Chase Tree?
No, how?
So monks used to eat the seeds to keep their libido down. Hence
Oh.
a chastity tree.
Oh.
Yes. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
They're all.
You have peonies in there? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see them now. They have, this is a pollinator garden, he said. And he said this one is kind of challenging because of the deer. But he said that they have peonies in here.
Yeah, they're right behind the lantana. There's
Yeah.
Cosmia, Shasta daisies, Rebecca, Veronica. We just cut back everything to try to get a second
Right.
round of blooms.
What is this in the front? Some kind of euphorbia?
Yep, exactly. It's the first time we grew it on campus. I've never grown it before.
It's pretty. It's kind of like a little whimsy.
Yeah, I figured it would check out.
Okay, we were talking about the knockout roses, and I used to have a lot at my house, and they were good for probably 12 or 15 years, and then they just started getting spindly and no growth, no blooms. And you just said that it was probably what?
Rosette disease. It's caused by a mite that feeds on the native roses in the area, and it gets blown, and by birds it'll feed on those, and it inoculates the new plant with it's a virus that's you cannot cure, and you start getting called witch's broom. It looks like the end of a broom growth. It's crazy growth. The stem will turn oval instead of round, and it's not curable. So it was a big, that's why knockout roses aren't really on the market anymore.
I see.
We had issues with it on campus as well, so we quit planting knockouts. But there are controls, but once you get it, you can't get it.
Right. Well, I guess it's a good thing I pulled all of mine out. I was just tired of looking at them. You gotta nip that in the bud.
So we use integrated pest management. We try to use best practices. We try not to use chemicals unless it's a last ditch effort for in a case like this to prevent an infestation. You can hit that with some liquid 7 and fix the problem, which liquid 7 is listed for vegetables.
Okay.
So as long as you don't harvest the day of.
Right.
And a lot of times when we have to use chemical control like that, we'll do it really early in the morning before anybody's around, so that way nobody's exposed to it. Sometimes our spray tech will come in on Saturdays. But we try to do preventative things, so you can put a midicloprid in a granular form out in the springtime and use it as a systemic meaning that the plant draws it up, and when the insect feeds on it, he's eating the poison. And so that's what we've found has given us really good success, is our problem areas like that. Next year we'll hit them up early spring, right after they bloom, so we're not hurting the pollinators. With an imidacloprid, it'll give us season-long control, so we don't have to mess with it.
Have y'all looked into the, I don't know if this is new or what, but the biologicals, like where you use certain mites to control, good mites to control the bad mites?
Yeah, it's hard to do in a big area like this. What we've tried to do is promote the environment for those lady beetles and those type things to be able to take, compensate for that.
Yeah.
So daffodils, we plant about at least 10,000 any given year. So that's our minimum. But this whole bed here has about 60,000 in it.
Oh my gosh.
And then going down this road, let's see, so we've been planting at least 10,000 for the last 13 years down this road in all these pine straw areas.
Oh my gosh.
So it really pops. And when you come in here in February, it's all yellow.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I'll have to come back in February when.
And we're actually, this year, we're going to start doing some more on this side.
Oh, yeah.
Because we filled all this up, like all these tree rings in here. This is all solid daffodils.
When do y'all cut
we're gonna put these in, and then we put 15,000 this past year in this mulch bed right here. And then we planted that anise on the back side to try to shade that parking lot so you don't see it driving in. So, that anise will get 10 foot by 10 foot.
Yeah.
And so we're wanting it just to be kind of natural. You don't see it. You can still see the daffodils, the dead foliage from them where they died back.
Well, I was just fixing to ask you, when do y'all cut the dead foliage back, or do y'all just let it die down?
We let it die down, or if we have to, if you cut it back, you're cutting your blooms.
Right.
Off. So we just step it down in pine straw.
Oh, okay.
That's generally what we do.
So y'all use pine straw more than triple shredded?
This here is part of our tree cycling program.
Okay.
So when we have to take down a tree on campus, we chip it up and we repurpose the chips.
I love it.
And sometimes we'll actually make furniture out of the trunk, and like Coulter Hall has a few benches from the 17 oaks that we had to remove for the building. But you can't do that every time, but we try to.
Yeah.
I know Ford Center has a table that was made out of some wood from repurposed on campus. But this is part of our tree cycling, so we're repurposing the tree after we have to take it down.
Yeah.
So, we have a natural debris site that we'll pile all these limbs on, and about every 3 years, depending on how much debris, we'll hire out a tub grinder and he'll grind everything up and make chips for us.
I love it.
And we like the little area, but that center brick thing, that is actually the tree dedication plaque. So if somebody wanted to dedicate a tree for somebody on campus, their plaque would go on that wall, and then we would plant the tree for them.
Oh, wow.
Instead of putting the plaque below the tree, which always ends up disappearing.
Right.
You know, college campus, everything grows legs and can run away.
Right.
So that's a little bit more fixed. That's all in one location, easy for everybody to see. So.
College campus.
It was due in June, so we did it beginning of June.
And do you just send? Oh yeah, this has been a while in the making.
They're moving furniture in now.
And this is the stem.
Stem. Yeah, it has like 6 names. They keep changing the name. I don't know.
Well, just then when you said the Duff Center,
Center.
I thought you said the Deaf Center, and I thought, oh well, they've got some, you know.
The Duff brothers, I think, gave a lot of money.
Okay.
For it, so.
Aren't they like Forbes and Cities billionaires?
Yeah, they own the building where Faulkner was the mailman. Yeah.
Oh,
It was
really?
a boiler shop, and so they tore it down. They saved the smokestack. They just disassembled it, and they're going to put it back. Actually, I went through a meeting last week on it, but you're about to see a fence go up, and they're going to start on that phase of it.
And that's going to be the Faulkner Memorial Garden.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful! How long will that take?
I think it's about 1.5 years, I think.
Okay.
Because it's got a lot of hardscaping in it, involved in it.
Yeah. I'm so impatient. I want it to be ready by October.
It might. I'm not sure because there were some addendums in it, and it depends on if they're doing all those or not.
Okay.
But yeah. So this is going to be a new building with new challenges and new excitement too, as well.
Right. Onward and upward.
Yep.
It looks good. This is the first time I've seen it like this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's an interesting building. The landscape doesn't really fit the rest of campus landscape, but my opinion didn't matter in that.
Well, you know, the building, that building looks a little more modern than.
Everything there looks like something in like Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's a big city, and everything has its place.
Okay.
So when the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima, the only thing that lived was 3 ginkgo trees. They got burned really bad, but they leafed right out within weeks of that happening. So if they can live through a nuclear blast, they can live in a parking lot here.
They can live in Mississippi.
Ole Miss's campus.
But they also drop their leaves all at once.
Right.
Kind of like a maple tree. Once they start, they're done. And that's what we want. We want low maintenance. So
One and done.
Your red oaks, they'll hold on to their leaves all winter long until you get your leaves cleaned up, and then they drop them. So we try to get one and done.
Maintenance is key. Well, it's beautiful. Every bit of it is beautiful.
We do appreciate it. Again, it's challenging, but it's very rewarding when you see people enjoy it. And, you know, I tell a lot of our staff, when you see an 18-year-old kid pick up a piece of trash, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal.
You really don't ever see trash.
No.
Craig girl got taken out by a car.
Oh, gosh.
It happens. We let them regrow back.
Right.
We'll train them back. Crepe myrtle, I mean, they grow so quick.
Yeah. I mean, and just like that little area right there looks like a park.
Well, you have to be proactive. They wanted to put riprap in there. which is that white, ugly rock.
Yeah.
And we said, well, what about a natural stone and the cost? So those are called mill ends. So when they mill the actual stone for decorative stone, those are the ends that are left over and the pieces, the slag from it.
Oh, okay.
And so we were able to get those at cheaper than like a river rock. But
Yeah.
it looks a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
For decorative.
Yes. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Is there anything else? Any other questions or anything I can answer?
I just can't even think of anything right now. I'm just basking in all of it. Wasn't that fun? Didn't y'all love seeing the campus? And my poor video and capabilities does not do the campus justice. It's really something that you need to see with your own eyes. So again, I invite you to go and tour the Ole Miss campus and check out Landscape Services while you're there and give them a thumbs up because they do a really good job. But this video is long and there's more to it. I'm gonna have to break it into 2 parts. So this is the first part, and then you can watch maybe tomorrow or the next day and see the second part. But it was. And look, I also cannot tell y'all how much fun it is to be in the Grove in the fall at an Ole Miss football game. The party that goes on in the Grove is like no other. If you've been there, you know. If you haven't been there, you need to go. It's a whole lot of fun. I mean, words, I can't tell you with words. You can see pictures, you can see video clips, but you really just know, you should have been there. You should have been there. So, even if you can't go to the game, just go to the Grove to experience it. At least once in your life. All right. Well, I hope y'all had fun watching this, and stay tuned for the next part of the video that will be coming out one day this week. All right. Bye-bye.